Hey everybody, welcome to today's practice. Today we're going to be doing a slow grounding yin practice. So if you're not already in super comfortable clothes, then go ahead and hit pause and make that happen, whether it's your most comfortable yoga clothes or maybe your pajamas if that's appropriate for where you are. Just go ahead and make sure you're comfortable. We're going to use a couple of props today if those are available to you. If not, I'm sure you have some things around the house that'll work just fine. I have one blanket that I'm sitting on. I do have a second blanket. Again, that generally is not necessary, just something to help make this practice a little bit more comfortable. Perhaps a block and maybe a bolster if you have that available to you. So when you're ready, go ahead and settle into your mat and we'll get started. So we're going to come to a comfortable, easy seat. So maybe you'd like to sit on your knees, maybe you'd like to sit cross-legged, just whatever that looks like for you today. Just find yourself comfortable. Now just go ahead and close your eyes if that feels okay, and start to settle into your breath. So just giving yourself a moment to land on your mat. Exhaling out anything that you may have stepped away from to come to this place today. And breathing in, just giving yourself some encouragement and acknowledgement for unrolling your mat today. Recognizing the challenges of carving out time to really give back to yourself. And just breathe. Allow the shoulders to glide away from the ears, the jaw to soften and relax. Check in with your fingertips. Maybe notice if they're on your upper thighs, if they're gripping or holding on, or if you can just let them relax. Maybe check in with your eyes. Closing your eyes, are you forcing them shut? Or are your eyelids just softly closed? Can you relax your forehead any bit more? Perhaps the crown of the head. Maybe noticing your chest. Seeing if you can soften the space around the heart, the space behind the heart. Maybe noticing if you're tending to roll in, to close off, or if you can just softly open up a little bit. Preparing for this practice. Just soften your breath. Breathing in and out through the nose if that's comfortable. If not, feel free to breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. Allowing the breath to be steady and soft. Maybe noticing the temperature of the room, sensations on your skin. Maybe even noticing some smells and some sounds. In the middle of a rainstorm here, so you may even hear the gentle patter of the rain from the video. Continue to drop in. Let the body become heavy, knowing that you are supported here. This is your safe place. This is your time to just let go, to embody this experience, and to absorb the benefits. Just take a moment in silence here, setting an intention or perhaps dedication for this practice and this time. ready, you can gently flutter your eyes open. And we'll start to transition into our first posture. So I'll offer some modifications and adaptations for some of these postures that are a little bit more uncomfortable or challenging. Just remembering that this is your practice, not mine. You can always skip a posture. You can always trade it out for something that's more comfortable and more serving of your body in your practice. And of course, with the video, you can always just hit fast forward. So our very first posture is not a pleasant one, but we're gonna come into toe stretch. This is actually a really beneficial posture. So we're just gonna come into a kneeling position, tucking the toes under, and then maybe just gently taking the hands forward as you rock back. And so there's a couple of different ways that you can do this, but for today's practice, we're just gonna rock all the way back until we're in a squatting position. If you need to keep your hands down on the floor, then go ahead and do so. If it would be okay, maybe bring one hand up or maybe both. So we're kind of coming into a toe stand here. Maybe allow hands to come into heart center. No worries, we're not gonna be here too terribly long. We're just gonna allow ourselves to drop in for a moment. Breathe in and out through the nose. And for our rebound posture, we will be coming into Virasana or Thunderbolt. So if you need to go there ahead of time, that is always your choice. Stay here for a few more breaths. Feel a little sensation in the front of your shins, the tops of your feet. Just giving those feet some love. And then very slowly backing out of the pose, we'll bring the fingertips forward. We're gonna come back to our knees, gently untucking the toes. And so here's the first place that we may wanna bolster a block or a blanket. We're gonna come into Virasana or Hero's pose. Remember, there's always half. So this is not a pose, little cat here on my bolster. This is not a pose that I super love. So one of the easiest modifications here is gonna bring your toes a little bit closer together, a little bit more in. Let the knees just come out. And we're gonna sit up nice and tall. Just notice if you're clenching with the shoulders here and see if you can roll them back. For any of these postures, if it would serve you to close your eyes, then go ahead and do so. Sometimes it's nice to practice yin in the dark. Maybe turn on some relaxing music or have a candle nearby as we just focus on the sensation that we're feeling in our body. Maybe noticing any changes in your breath. As you find your unique edge, not trying to match anyone else. And breathe. Feel a little sensation in the tops of your feet. So this is the opposite. And so what we were feeling in our little toe stretch pose just a moment ago. And as we settle into this yin practice, maybe just check in with the temperature in the room that you're in. You want to keep the body a little bit warmer than normal, just so we don't have to worry about pumping blood to all of our extremities to keep them warm. So if you need to put on a sweater or some socks, anything that can just keep the body regulated, then go ahead and do so. If you start to feel too much sensation in your knees, you can always place a blanket in between your hamstrings and your calves, just to take the bend out just a little bit. If you're okay here, we'll stay just a little bit longer. We're going to come into Paschimottanasana or seated forward fold for our rebound posture or our next posture. So if at any time you need to go ahead and move there, you're more than welcome to do so. Otherwise, we'll continue to stay here and breathe. Checking in with any emotions that may rise. Always reminding yourself that you are not your thoughts. You're not even this body. The breath. Check in with the sensation. Do you need to stay here for the rest of this time? Do you need to realign, adjust, or do you need to leave? Rhythm of your breath. Notice the pattern. We'll slowly start to move out of this pose. So taking your time here, we're going to wiggle it forward. And if you had something in between your legs, maybe slowly push it back as you lengthen one leg out. Maybe give it a wiggle. Other leg out, give it a wiggle. And we'll slowly come to a seat. Now, if you have any low back issues, any low back pain, maybe lift your hips up just a little bit rather than just sitting on the mat for this next posture. And you can also take a blanket or a block and place it underneath your knees. Mine will be lifted up a little bit too much because I do have some low back pain, so I'm going to lift my hips. But you can roll a blanket underneath to support here. Remember, we want to apply positive stress to the body, but avoiding negative stress and anything that is going to cause stress in areas that we're not targeting. So once you're ready, remember you can always bend your knees, especially if you have tight hamstrings. The tighter your hamstrings are, the more it's going to pull on that low back. We're going to engage our core muscles just for a moment here, pulling the belly button in and up, giving us room to tilt from that pelvis as we come forward. So we crawl the fingertips out. It is not the goal here to reach for those toes, but if you can, great. So we're going to come out here. We're going to gently fold over the knees. You're going to relax the head and neck, maybe taking the tip of your tongue to the roof of your mouth. It's just a gentle reminder not to clench the jaw. Again, just notice if those shoulders are sliding up towards your ears and just encourage them to relax down. Breathing in between your shoulder blades, breathing into your low back. It's always a tricky pose for me. Finding those little tension knots in the back of my body. I'm actually going to take a blanket for my forehead. So feel free to do the same thing as we just relax here and breathe. Again, just notice the sensations after you found your edge and you start to drop in and breathe. Just continue to check in, asking yourself if you need to realign, if you need to leave the posture early. There's no right or wrong way to practice. It's your body, your experience. Honor what you need and leave the rest. Maybe those feet slide out a little bit further as you drop into the pose. We try to stay in stillness, but recognizing that sometimes we have to adjust the body so we're able to sit still a little bit more comfortably. Checking in with the mind body. Again, noticing if any thoughts, any emotional sensations are beginning to arise. Closing your eyes if that's appropriate. We'll stay here for a little bit longer, but should you need to leave early, we're just simply going to walk our feet back towards our hips and begin to windshield wiper as we rebound. So again, just checking in with where you need to be. And breathing. Few more breaths. The same way we got into the pose, we're just going to slowly walk the fingertips back, giving your body time to reset, to rebound. Sometimes that's where we feel the most sensation from these poses. If you have anything underneath your sitting bones, you can go ahead and gently remove it. Take your time with these transitions. We're not in a hurry here. And then we're going to take the fingertips behind the hips, soles of the feet flat on the floor, and windshield wiper from side to side. Nice and gentle. Again, checking in with these sensations, as they're just as important as the sensations we felt within the posture. Begin to set up the next pose. So we're going to come into deer pose. Go ahead and starting with the feet bent, or the knees bent, feet on the floor. We're going to take the right shin forward, leaning forward just slightly as we take the left leg and wrap it around. So if we feel a lot of sensation just like this, then you can stay like this. Otherwise, you can gently twist. We're not twisting from our spine, we're twisting from our core muscles, protecting our spine. And in order to do that, we're going to internally rotate through the back thigh, so that'll be your left thigh. Once you do that, you might go ahead and feel that sensation in the front of that left quad area, maybe even into your IT band. I definitely have tight IT bands, so that's a big thing for me. And then just soften your gaze wherever. You can look down. If it feels good to look over that right shoulder, go ahead and do so. I'm actually going to grab a block for my right hand just so I can get up a little bit higher. We're going to make sure we root down through that left thigh bone. Again, finding that little target area of sensation there. And then if you want to, you can close your eyes or just soften your gaze. Again, just checking in with the whole body. Where we have that positive stress, where we have our edge, and what stress and tension we need to let go of so that we can receive the benefits of this pose. Just check in with that right shoulder. Is it rising up? Are we holding tension? Can you soften it? If you have your right hand on a block, are you gripping the block with your fingertips, and can you soften them? Can you rotate through that left inner thigh? And just as much as we want to watch out for a bad sensation, we want to notice when we've lost our target area and when we've lost sensation and we need to realign there. Steady the breath. Let go of those thoughts. You're exactly where you're supposed to be right now. Okay to do so. We'll continue to stay here for a few more moments, but when you do need to leave, we're going to back out of the pose just the exact same way that we came into it, one leg at a time, and then windshield wiper those knees. Few more breaths. Very slowly, if you twist it, bring it back in. I'm going to start by bringing my back leg around first. I'm going to use my left hand to support it. Moving the right leg over, lengthening them out just a smidgen, hands behind my hips, and windshield wiper from side to side. And you're ready. Again, just checking in with sensation here. Maybe if you need to take a moment and lie down on your back, let those hip flexors relax. Just again, making this practice about you, not about what I think might be best for you, because I certainly don't know. We're going to take that left shin forward and wrap the right leg around. So as we get into these poses that are on different sides, you may notice that one side feels better than the other and one side's a little bit more sticky. And that's okay. These shapes don't need to look the same from side to side. So just checking in with what you may feel. Again, we want to internally rotate through that right upper thigh, and then you can sort of play with the twist here. So it doesn't feel comfortable for you to twist as far on this side. Just checking in once again with your shoulders and your jaw. Where are you holding tension on and where your focus is? Always remembering where your attention goes, energy flows. So we're working on that inner groin here in the front of that right thigh. Maybe finding a little sensation in that IT band. Again, I definitely do. But everyone's different. And just settling into your breath. Just noticing at what point you may lose sensation, at what point the sensation may be too much. We'll have the exact same rebound on this side. More breaths here. Slowly back out of this posture, just like we did the first side. I'll take my right leg forward first, followed by the left. We'll just windshield wiper from side to side, checking in with sensation on this side. And then we're going to transition into tabletop position and for a few rounds of cat-cow. So just checking in with our spine, our back body, loosening up those hips. Just move back and forth here. So just find a version that works for your body. Maybe that involves the tucking and the untucking of the toes. Maybe you've been working at a desk all day or typing a whole bunch and you want to stretch your wrist. Maybe move from side to side. Roll up neck a couple of times. Exploring the breath and the body, moving the energy. Maybe rock back and forth towards child's pose. Maybe reverse your breath. When you're ready, we'll start to prepare for our next pose. Our next pose will be dragon. And I'm actually going to place my front foot on a block to lift it up a little bit. It's a little different sensation there if you want to try it. If you don't have a block, then just place your foot on the floor. So, all right, foot coming up here, unless you would like to do your left side first. I'm going to tuck my left toes under just to get a little sensation in that foot. Again, we use our feet for a lot. We just don't show them a whole lot of love. And then I'm actually going to use my bolster for my forearms, even though it's covered in cat hair, and apparently the cat wants to continue. To cover myself in cat hair. Relaxing your shoulders, relax your low back. So targeting the front of that left thigh and that right hamstring. We've got a whole lot of sensation here, so just being really careful with your edge here. It is not the intention of this pose to torture your body, but just put stress on it in a positive way. So just breathe into the spaces. If you need to realign, if you need to back out, please do so. Always close your eyes if that's appropriate. Allow yourself to really check in. Come down to our bellies for our rebound. So if you need to leave ahead of time, that's where we're going. Just take your time backing out of your pose. But if it's okay for you to stay a little bit longer, maybe lean in to breathe a little bit more deeply, and stay right here. If the sensation becomes too great and you want to back out of the pose without leaving, then you can maybe start to walk the fingertips towards that right upper thigh. Lifting the shoulders over the hips. About 60 seconds left on this side before we transition. And we'll take our time very, very, very slowly. Backing out of this pose. Allow your body time to rebound and transition. Removing any props. And gently back out by straightening my right leg until it comes off my block. Sliding your block, if you use one, to either side of your mat, slowly come down to your belly. You can make a little pillow with your forearms as we just let the body relax. Again, maybe noticing sensations here. From here, we're going to transition into Sphinx pose before going into dragon on the second side. So maybe letting your feet point out towards the sides, the back edges of your mat, if that's okay with your knees. It doesn't feel great in mine. So just check in with that and see how it's feeling. We're going to come up onto the forearms. So again, this is one of those poses that you may not feel a whole lot just right here, but we'll feel a lot more on the rebound. Want to make sure the shoulders aren't lifting up, but we're not going to actively press too far. We're getting compression in that low spine. So that's not an area that we want a whole lot of sensation just right off the bat, but we're going to ease our way into it with our breath. The shoulders soft, chest open. Breathe into your low back. You may start to feel a dull ache. Shouldn't be any sharp pain. That dull ache is okay. It's a little compression in your low spine. Stay here for about 2 more minutes. If you need to leave early, then just take yourself back into child's pose. Keeping the knees together, rounding over the upper thighs, and reach the arms back towards the heels. Make sure you're not collapsing forward. And the chest open, shoulders relaxed. couple more breaths. And then releasing all the way down. Just let your forehead rest on the backs of your hands. Start to wiggle the legs towards each other. Relax the shoulders. And we're going to start to slowly walk it back into a child's pose. So very gently pressing the upper body up. Pausing for a moment in a half plank as you pull your belly button in, stretching those low back muscles. We're going to drape the upper body over the knees. Reach the arms softly back behind you. And just let one side of your forehead come to the mat. If this is too far, you can take a block, preferably a blanket. It's a little bit softer. And then just breathe into your low back. Go ahead and switch sides, making sure we stay even here. And slowly walk it back up. And we're going to prepare for our dragon on the second side. So if you used a block on the first side, we're going to try it here. So this time that left foot will come forward, right knee wiggles back. Again, I'm going to tuck my toes under. And then perhaps bringing forearms to a block, a bolster, maybe even a chair. Maybe just leave the fingertips on that left upper thigh. Checking in with the sensation in the front of that right thigh and that left hamstring. Check in with where those thoughts are going. Check in with how your breath is flowing. Relax into it, find your edge. Just be present. need to realign, to back out. Check in with that breath. You may notice, hopefully you're not staring at the video and focusing on your own practice, but my body will begin to shake. And that's okay, as long as you're staying within your edge, not going past it, so you don't want any sharp shooting pain, nothing that you have to white knuckle for or huff and puff for. So checking in, making sure you're able to breathe steadily, but sometimes when energy flows, we start to release tension or tightness, whether it be physical, mental, or emotional, it can cause your body to tremble, and that's okay. So remembering that we'll be coming back to our bellies for our rebound. If you need to leave early, you'll head that way. If not, we're going to stay here for just a little bit longer. Couple more breaths. And I'll start to back my way out of the pose the same way I did on the other side. I'm tucking my toes, lengthening out the left leg, sliding the props to the side, and then pulling the left foot off the block. Setting all props aside, come down to your belly. And then whichever side of your forehead you had on your forearms before, go ahead and switch it. And we'll just take a couple of breaths here to rebound. Slowly coming back up, we're going to press back towards our knees. Maybe wiggle the hips from side to side. We're going to sweep the legs around and come down to our backs. So just taking a moment here, maybe walking the feet out to the edges of the mat, let your knees drop in. Just checking in with how you're feeling so far. Got just a couple more postures before we settle in for Shavasana or meditation. When you're ready, you can slowly bring the knees into the chest. Maybe continuing to rock from side to side. Maybe draw some circles with your knees. Reaching your arms out at shoulder height, take a deep breath in. Exhale, melt the knees over to the right. Shifting your head over your left shoulder. Just staying here and melting. Close your eyes. Relax the shoulder blades into the earth. back to center nice and slow. Take your time here. You can slowly change your sides. If you have any props, go ahead and push them aside as you melt open. Relax the shoulders, close your eyes. Just breathe. Bringing it back into center. Plugging your knees in, relaxing your low back. Maybe you're rocking from side to side. As you massage it down. We're going to come into one final posture before we close out our practice. Allow the feet to come back to the mat, and then the knees will drop open. Coming into Supta Baddha Konasana. So go ahead and start to make yourself comfortable. If you need to grab any props nearby for your Shavasana, as we will enter our Shavasana from here. Taking left hand to heart, right hand to belly. Start to slowly breathe in and out through the nose. Perhaps working with a 3-part breath. Filling belly, filling your chest, all the way up into the shoulders and the collarbones. And slowly allow it to leave. staying here as long as it feels appropriate, but knowing you can leave when you need to. We can start to prepare the body for Shavasana. So perhaps gradually lengthening the legs out. Maybe you'd like to place a bolster underneath your knees. Maybe you'd like to drape a blanket over your body. Just allow the stress to completely leave here. Palms face up in the receiving position. Eyes are closed and heavy. Muscles are heavy. Breath is relaxed. Mind is calm. Let everything go. Know that you are loved, safe, and supported. Be at peace. Experience this moment of bliss. Start to gradually wake the body back up. Pulling fingers and toes. Maybe rolling wrists and ankles. Maybe reaching the arms up overhead for a big good morning stretch. In your own time, slowly find your way to fetal position. Allowing that bottom arm to cradle and support your head as you savor the breath. Breathing in new positive affirmations and positive intentions. Just exhaling anything that no longer serves you and is weighing you down. Pressing your way up to a comfortable and easy seat. Allowing the eyes to remain closed, breath steady, shoulders soft, mind relaxed. Just take a moment as you breathe to acknowledge how you feel after committing time to this practice, committing time to yourself, nourishing and replenishing yourself. Take this time to breathe in gratitude to yourself for stepping on your mat, giving yourself the gift of yoga, the gift of practice, and dedicating time to your practice. Breathe in gratitude to your body for carrying you through this practice and for carrying you through each and every day. Drawing palms to heart center as we seal this practice, bowing forehead to fingertips. Honor your body and yourself, your practice, the practice of yoga itself, and all that come together to practice with us. May all beings everywhere be peaceful and free. The light in me sees, acknowledges, and bows to the light in each of you. Thank you so much for class. Namaste.